Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone, and thank you for joining us on another incredible journey into the world of rare and valuable coins that could be hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered by someone like you, or maybe in your pocket change, coin jar, or tucked away in an old drawer at home. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1998 D1-cent coin, a Lincoln penny that on the surface might appear ordinary but has turned heads in the numismatic world by commanding prices as high as $23 due to rare and unusual minting errors and mistakes that make it an object of fascination for collectors and experts alike. Although $23 might not sound like a fortune, when compared to the coin's face value of just 1 cent, that represents a jaw-dropping 2,300% increase in value, a testament to the incredible power of minting anomalies, human error, and historical curiosity. But how does a modern penny, produced in the millions at the Denver Mint in 1998, end up being worth exponentially more than what it was originally intended for? The answer lies in a combination of rare minting mistakes, shifts in production techniques, and the unique characteristics that make certain coins outliers in a sea of mass-produced currency. To understand why a 1998 D penny might sell for up to $23, we need to first explore the era in which it was minted. The year 1998 was a time when the U.S. Mint was still producing the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which had been introduced in 1959 to replace the earlier wheat ears design. This reverse design features the Lincoln Memorial in fine detail, and the obverse still bears the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which had been used since 1909. However, as with any coin struck in high volumes, the possibility of errors creeping in during production becomes more likely, and that's exactly what happened with a select number of 1998 D pennies. One of the most significant and valuable errors found on some 1998 D pennies is known as the wide AM reverse variety. This variety occurs when there is an unusually wide space between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side of the coin. Normally, the letters are placed closely together, almost touching, in the standard design used for circulation coins minted in Denver. However, a small batch of coins was mistakenly struck using a reverse die intended for proof coins minted in Philadelphia, which featured a slightly different font spacing. This mix-up resulted in a noticeable gap between the L and M, making these coins instantly identifiable to the trained eye and highly sought after by collectors due to their rarity and the story behind their creation. The wide AM reverse is not just a cosmetic anomaly, it's a window into the production process at the Mint, showing how dies can be switched, misapplied, or reused in ways that produce collectible oddities. But the wide AM variety isn't the only error to be found on 1998 D pennies. Other notable issues include off-center strikes, which occur when the coin blank is not properly seated in the striking chamber, causing the design to be imprinted off-center and leaving part of the blank surface visible. These off-center strikes can range from minor to dramatic, and the more off-center the strike without losing the date and mint mark, the more valuable the coin typically becomes. Then there are double die errors, which result when the coin is struck twice with a misaligned die, causing doubling in the letters or design elements. Although more commonly associated with earlier coins, some examples of 1998 D pennies have exhibited minor doubling, especially in the inscription such as a liberty or the date, drawing attention from sharp-eyed collectors. Die cracks and die chips are also among the kinds of errors that increase the value of a 1998 D penny. These occur as the dies used to strike the coins begin to wear out, crack, or chip during extended use. The resulting coins may have raised lines or blobs of metal where the imperfections in the die transferred to the coin's surface. In the case of the 1998 D penny, examples with visible die cracks running through Lincoln's face or across the fields of the coin are considered premium finds, especially if the cracks are significant or add visual intrigue. There are also known cases of plating blisters and improper alloy mixes in 1998 D pennies. After 1982, pennies were made primarily from zinc with a thin copper plating, and sometimes the bond between the core and plating would be faulty, resulting in bubbling or pitting on the surface. These defects, though technically considered flaws, are exactly what makes certain coins unique and collectible. Some 1998 D pennies have been found with so-called floating roofs, where the top of the Lincoln Memorial appears detached from the columns due to worn or clogged dies. Others have weak strikes where parts of the design are faint or missing, caused by insufficient striking pressure or improperly prepared planchets. Another contributing factor to the elevated value of the 1998 D penny is condition and grade. Even a minor error can become significantly more valuable when found on a coin in mint state condition. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC assess the strike quality, luster, surface preservation, and eye appeal, assigning a numerical grade from 1 to 70. Coins graded MS65 or higher are particularly prized, and when such coins also exhibit rare errors, their market value can skyrocket. Imagine a wide AM variety 1998 D penny in MS67 red condition. Now that's a coin that can command a premium far above $23. The color of the penny also plays a role, with red designations given to coins that retain at least 95% of their original copper red luster. Red, brown, and brown coins are still valuable, but collectors often pay significantly more for coins with vivid, original color. It's also worth considering the low survival rate of error coins from 1998. Since these coins were produced for general circulation, the vast majority were used in everyday transactions, worn down, lost, or damaged beyond collectability. The few surviving error coins that are still in excellent condition are inherently rare simply due to the attrition rate over time. This scarcity increases demand among collectors who are seeking to complete error sets, Lincoln cent year sets, or who simply specialize in coins with known varieties. Market dynamics also influence the price of a coin like the 1998 D penny. Online auction platforms like eBay, dedicated numismatic forums, and major coin shows provide the venues where collectors and dealers determine value based on demand, rarity, and desirability. Some sellers may list wide AM examples for under $10, but if the coin is graded high or has other error characteristics, the price can climb rapidly. Even raw ungraded coins with visible anomalies have sold for $20 or more, particularly when accompanied by clear photographs and verifiable descriptions. And as awareness of such errors continues to spread thanks to online videos, articles, and social media posts, more people are scouring their change for hidden treasures, further driving up demand. This also means that a growing number of people are now aware that the 1998 D penny might be worth more than a cent, which creates competition and interest that propels its value higher. Another reason why the 1998 D penny is so important is its role in the broader narrative of modern U.S. coinage errors. It serves as a bridge between the earlier, more heavily studied varieties like the 1955 double die and the post-2000 state quarters and shield cents, which have also yielded numerous collectible varieties. The 1998 D wide AM penny occupies a unique space as one of the earliest late 20th century modern errors that captured widespread collector interest. Additionally, the 1998 D penny is often included in educational discussions, YouTube channels, and collector guides about transitional varieties, coins that exhibit design elements not intended for their mint or year due to the reuse or misapplication of dies. As such, its fame grows over time, and any associated errors or anomalies gain value not just from rarity but from narrative significance. Every collector wants to own a piece of a famous story, and the 1998 D penny is exactly that, a story of how a few unnoticed mistakes can turn an everyday coin into a sought-after collectible worth many times its face value. To collectors, this coin is more than metal, it's an artifact of a moment when machines faltered, humans overlooked, and history quietly minted something extraordinary. And perhaps most compelling of all is the notion that you could find one of these coins right now in your loose change. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone curious about the value of the pennies in your pocket, keep your eyes open for 1998 D 1-cent coins with wide M's, off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, plating bubbles, or weak strikes. Carefully check the spacing of the letters, examine the surfaces under good lighting, and if you find something unusual, consider having it evaluated by a professional. You never know, the next coin you find could be worth far more than you imagined, and the 1998 D penny is the perfect example of how a small, seemingly insignificant detail can lead to a discovery worth big money. So don't underestimate the humble cent, it might just be the most valuable piece of change you'll ever hold in your hand. Keep hunting, stay curious, and never stop searching for those rare finds that continue to surprise and inspire the coin collecting world. Next 2005 1-cent USA coin. Thank you for joining us once again as we dive deep into the extraordinary world of coin collecting, rare finds, and surprising treasures that could be sitting right in your pocket without you even realizing it. And today, we're going to explore a truly fascinating case involving the 2005 1-cent coin. A Lincoln penny that, despite being minted in the hundreds of millions and considered common by most, has emerged in certain cases as a valuable collector's item. Worth up to $21 or even more depending on the presence and severity of specific minting errors and mistakes that have captured the attention of numismatists and hobbyists alike across the country and around the world, because as always in the world of coin collecting, it's not just about the date or mint mark but the unique anomalies that make a particular coin stand out from the rest, and with the 2005 1-cent coin, there are a host of potential factors that can elevate its value significantly beyond its face value of just a single cent, which makes it an exciting piece to look out for whether you're new to the hobby or a seasoned collector on the hunt for your next big discovery. So sit tight as we embark on a journey into the production history, design intricacies, and error possibilities of this unassuming yet surprisingly valuable coin that could be lurking in plain sight. Now first, it's important to understand the context of the 2005 Lincoln cent, which was part of the long-running series that began in 1959 featuring the Lincoln Memorial reverse and carried on until the redesign in 2009, with the obverse still displaying the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. And in 2005 the US Mint continued to produce these coins in massive quantities using copper-plated zinc planchets, which had become the standard composition since the transition from solid copper in 1982. With the Denver and Philadelphia mints handling the bulk of the minting duties, so while millions of coins rolled off the presses, a tiny fraction of them contained errors, some dramatic, some subtle, that would later be identified, catalogued, and pursued by sharp-eyed collectors willing to pay a premium for these anomalies. And among the most well-known and widely collected errors found in the 2005 1-cent coins are die clashes, which occur when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchette in between, causing the design elements of one side to be impressed into the other die and then transferred to the coin struck thereafter, resulting in coins that bear ghost-like images of elements from both sides. And these die clash coins from 2005 have drawn significant interest, particularly those with strong, visible clashes that are easily identifiable without magnification. Then there are off-center strikes, which are another popular type of mint error where the coin blank, or planchette, is not properly aligned within the coining chamber at the time of striking, leading to a design that is shifted and part of which may be missing altogether. And the value of an off-center 2005 penny depends largely on how far off the strike is as well as whether the date and mint mark remain visible, with coins exhibiting a 5% to 10% off-center strike being somewhat common, while those with 50% or more off-center, and still retaining the date, commanding far higher prices due to their dramatic appearance and rarity. And then we have double die errors, one of the most famous and sought-after types of mint mistakes that occur during the hubbing process when the design is impressed into the die more than once in slightly misaligned positions, resulting in visible doubling of letters, numbers, or design features on the struck coin. And while 2005 does not have a confirmed major double die like the legendary 1955 or 1969 pennies, there have been documented cases of minor doubling on some 2005 cents, particularly on the date or the word liberty, which although more subtle still offer collectors a unique and interesting variety worth significantly more than face value, especially in high grades. And another category of error that has been reported in 2005 Lincoln cents involves die cracks and die breaks, which happen when the dies used to strike coins begin to wear out or develop fissures due to the intense pressure and repeated use they undergo. And when this occurs, raised lines or irregular shapes appear on the coin's surface where the metal has flowed into the cracks or voids in the die, creating what's commonly known as die cracks, die chips, or cuts depending on the location and size of the flaw. And collectors often prize these coins for their uniqueness, especially if the cracks are large, dramatic, or occur in interesting places such as across Lincoln's head, face, or coat. And one variant that has become especially popular is known as the BIE error, where a small die break forms between the letters B and E in liberty, making it appear as though there's an extra ein inserted into the word. And while not unique to 2005, the presence of this anomaly in coins of that year adds another layer of collectability. And beyond these visible strike errors, the 2005 1-cent coin is also subject to a number of issues related to its composition and plating process, particularly because since 1982, the US Mint has used a copper-plated zinc planchet which is notorious for being prone to plating blisters, bubbles, and peeling due to the challenges of bonding a thin copper layer to a zinc core, and when the plating does not adhere properly, air pockets or voids can form leading to raised bubbles or areas where the copper may even flake off, exposing the grey zinc beneath, and although these kinds of errors are technically flaws, they are precisely what make the coin unusual and collectible when they occur in a visually striking or well-preserved form, and it is not uncommon for collectors to pay a premium for such coins if the blistering is extensive, clearly defined, or occurs on Lincoln's face or important design elements, and similarly, there are errors where foreign material, such as grease, becomes lodged in the die or between the planchet and die during striking, resulting in what's called a strike-through error, where part of the design appears missing or obscured, and when these occur in dramatic fashion, they can be highly desirable to collectors, especially if the affected area is large or includes part of the date or Lincoln's portrait, and while many of these errors are fairly rare in general, it's the combination of these possibilities with overall coin condition and market demand that ultimately drives the value up to $21 or more, particularly when coins are in mint state or even higher grades and are free from post-mint damage or circulation wear, and grading plays an absolutely crucial role in determining the final value of a 2005 era penny, with coins that exhibit red luster and are graded MS65 or better by PCGS or NGC fetching significantly higher prices than those that are circulated or damaged, and color designation, red, red-brown, or brown, also plays into valuation, with red coins being the most desirable due to their pristine copper luster, and coins that combine a dramatic error with high grade and attractive coloring are particularly prized and can reach or exceed the $21 benchmark, especially when they are accompanied by third-party grading and authentication, and the awareness of such errors has grown tremendously in recent years due in part to online platforms, collector forums, and YouTube channels just like this one, where hobbyists and enthusiasts share their discoveries, compare varieties, and help spread knowledge about what to look for in pocket change, which in turn creates a ripple effect of interest and demand that pushes values upward and inspires more people to examine their coins more carefully. And because the 2005 penny is not particularly old, many examples in high grade still exist and are likely sitting undiscovered in collections, drawers, jars, and circulation, meaning the opportunity to find a valuable one remains very real for everyday people, and beyond known varieties and documented errors. It's worth noting that new varieties and discoveries are still being made as more people take up the hobby and scrutinize coins with better equipment and knowledge, so it's entirely possible that other forms of doubling, transitional features, or hybrid strikes involving leftover or mismatched dies may yet be uncovered among 2005 Lincoln cents, adding further depth to their appeal and historical significance. And it's this constant possibility of new finds, the thrill of discovery, and the detailed detective work involved that keeps the hobby vibrant and engaging, and encourages everyone, from beginners to experts, to keep looking, keep searching, and keep learning, because you never know when the next valuable coin will appear right in your hand. And for all these reasons, the wide array of error types, the accessibility of the coin, the potential for high-grade examples, the spread of information, and the persistent appeal of collecting something unique, the 2005 1-cent coin has established itself as a low-key but significant modern collectible that's worth far more than its humble 1-cent face value in the right circumstances. So the next time you find a 2005 penny in your change, take a moment to examine it carefully under good lighting, check for signs of off-center strikes, die cracks, doubling, plating bubbles, or missing elements that suggest a striking error, because you might just be holding a coin that's worth $21 or more, a tiny treasure hiding in plain sight. A reminder that value isn't always measured by size or denomination but by rarity, uniqueness, and the story a coin can tell. And as always, happy hunting! Last 2016 1-cent USA coin. Thank you for tuning in once again to explore the captivating universe of rare coins, hidden treasures, and modern marvels that could be quietly hiding in your everyday change, waiting for the right set of eyes to recognize their value. And today we dive deep into one such fascinating coin, the 2016 1-cent Lincoln penny, which, although minted in astronomical quantities and used daily without a second thought by millions, has in certain error-filled instances fetched impressive prices up to $10 due to its anomalies, mistakes, and peculiarities that have turned it from a simple copper-plated zinc disc into a prized collectible worthy of attention from even the most seasoned numismatists. And what makes the 2016 penny so intriguing is that it falls within the category of modern coins that are still actively circulating yet carry hidden details that escape the average person but are eagerly sought after by collectors who understand the rarity and significance of minting errors in such recently struck currency. So today we're going to peel back the layers of the 2016 penny, dive into its historical context, technical specifications, possible errors, documented mistakes, and market impact, and demonstrate exactly why a coin that costs the US Mint less than 2 cents to produce and is only worth 1 cent face value can end up selling for $10 or even more on auction sites, coin dealer shops, and collector marketplaces across the country. And to begin with, we need to understand that in 2016 the Lincoln Shield cent was the current design in circulation, which had replaced the previous Lincoln Memorial reverse in 2010, while the obverse continued to feature the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has been in continuous use since 1909, and the Shield design reverse, intended to honor Lincoln's preservation of the Union, features a stylized shield with a single horizontal scroll reading E pluribus unum across its top, and beneath that, a large vertical striped field with the words 1 cent boldly imprinted. And despite its relatively new design, or perhaps because of it, the 2016 penny has surfaced with numerous types of errors and varieties that make specific specimens valuable and desirable among collectors, especially those interested in contemporary minting issues that reflect modern technology's occasional failure. And one of the most well-known and most sought-after errors from 2016 are die cracks, which happen when the dies used to strike the coins become overused or compromised, creating fissures in the metal that manifest as raised lines or jagged formations on the surface of the coin. And in some 2016 examples, these cracks appear along the edges of the shield, across Lincoln's portrait, or even on the lettering itself. And while die cracks might seem minor at first glance, their location, size, and prominence greatly influence the value, especially if they are shaped unusually or appear to alter the intended design in a dramatic or interesting way. And collectors particularly love dramatic die cracks that look like lightning bolts, or that frame Lincoln's face or break through the motto "In God We Trust," or that run across the shield in a way that makes the coin look like it's been battle-worn. And these types of visual and symbolic resonances can make even small die cracks highly collectible when they're paired with strong eye appeal and minimal wear. And in addition to die cracks, another frequent issue in 2016 pennies is die chips, particularly in areas like Lincoln's eye, mouth, or along the shield bars. And these die chips can create what's known as the extra metals effect, where blobs of metal appear raised and out of place, sometimes taking on unusual or humorous shapes that collectors nickname, like the Booger Lincoln or Drooling Lincoln, varieties where die chips occur around the nose or mouth. And these may seem funny or unremarkable to the average spender, but in the world of error coin collecting, distinct die chips in recognizable positions can fetch real money, especially when paired with high grade and strong luster. And speaking of grading, let's not forget that condition is everything when it comes to modern errors. And while circulated coins can still fetch premiums if the error is dramatic enough, uncirculated coins or those graded MS65 or higher by PCGS or NGC hold far more appeal and can command prices well above $10, especially if the error is both prominent and rare. And then we must discuss the double die varieties, which are among the most famous types of mint errors and occur when a coin is struck by a die that has received a misaligned second impression from the hub, causing doubling in the letters, numbers, or design features. And while no major double die variety has been formally documented for the 2016 penny in the same league as the 1955 or 1969 double dies, minor doubling has been observed and reported by collectors on the date, the word Liberty, and the shield design, especially around the scroll and vertical bars. And these subtle forms of doubling, often called machine doubling or strike doubling when not hub-based, can still increase the value if they're clear and well preserved. And collectors are increasingly scouring their coins under microscopes to identify new double die varieties that might have escaped notice from the major grading services. And beyond these errors, another category that plays a major role in the value of 2016 pennies is plating issues, particularly because post-1982 pennies are made with a zinc core and a very thin outer layer of copper, and this construction can lead to a variety of problems during the minting process, such as plating bubbles, blisters, peeling, and discoloration when the copper does not properly adhere to the zinc beneath. And in some 2016 pennies, these bubbles appear as raised circles or mounds on Lincoln's face, coat, or the shield bars, and when pronounced, they add a 3D, almost sculptural quality to the coin that makes it both interesting and more valuable to error collectors, and in other cases, if the copper plating flakes off or fails to cover the entire coin, exposing the silvery zinc underneath, this type of error, known as an exposed planchet or incomplete plating, can draw even more attention and command prices far exceeding face value, especially if the coin is otherwise well struck and visually appealing. And it's not just the errors that add value but also the ability to combine multiple errors on one coin, such as a die crack plus a die chip, or doubling plus plating issues, which create what collectors call compound errors, and these are especially sought after because they are exponentially rarer than coins with a single error type. And 2016 pennies with 2 or more major errors in uncirculated condition have been known to bring $10 or more from eager buyers who recognize their scarcity and investment potential. And let's not overlook off-center strikes, which occur when the coin blank is not properly seated in the striking press, causing the design to be partially or significantly off its intended position. And while most off-center strikes under 5% are not particularly valuable, examples from 2016 with 10%, 25%, or even 50% off-center images where the date remains visible are far more desirable, and the more dramatic and visually off-kilter the coin looks, the higher the potential value, particularly when it comes with third-party certification verifying the error type and condition. And in addition to these physical errors, collectors also watch for anomalies in the mint mark, such as repunched mint marks or tilted mint marks, though these have become less common in recent years due to technological upgrades at the US Mint. And yet, because the 2016 UD pennies, minted in Denver, and 2016 no mint mark pennies from Philadelphia, are both produced in high volumes, the chance of subtle mint mark issues remains a possibility, and these would be highly collectible if documented and certified. And as with all coins, market trends play a huge role in determining value, and even small changes in collector interest, news coverage, social media posts, or viral videos can cause sudden spikes in demand for specific varieties or error types, leading to brief windows where coins like the 2016 penny with minor but distinct anomalies can soar in value temporarily as more people look to find or buy them. And this happens regularly in the modern era collecting space, where information spreads quickly and coins that were overlooked for years can suddenly become the new hot item overnight, especially when collectors start building variety sets or trying to complete runs of known errors by date, mint, and type. And the 2016 penny plays a role in many of these collections due to its recency, accessibility, and the sheer number of potential errors associated with it. And because of its relatively young age, many examples of 2016 pennies with errors remain in excellent condition, some having never circulated, making them prime candidates for premium valuation if they also feature one or more desirable anomalies. And while $10 might not sound like a fortune to the average person, when you consider that it represents a 1,000-fold increase in value over the coin's face value, it becomes an incredibly compelling find for anyone interested in coin roll hunting, estate sale scouring, or simply checking their pocket change. And the beauty of coins like the 2016 penny is that they represent the intersection of historical tradition, modern production, mechanical imperfection, and personal discovery, showing that even in an era of automation and technological precision, human error and machine limitations continue to create unintentional works of art and treasure that people are willing to pay for. And this only